Our robo friends are looking really, really nice. I really like this app. There is one issue though. If I minimize this, okay, it's responsive, it looks good. But if I scroll down, well, I lose my search bar at the top. Would it be nice if this was at the top and I have a scroll that I can do and still search through my friends? Well, you might be thinking, well, there's probably a CSS style that I can add here, but I want to illustrate to you the fact that React and why React is so good is because you can create components that are reusable, not just card components, but functionality. Wouldn't it be cool if there was maybe something where we can add around card lists? Maybe I can create a scroll component, and this scroll component just wraps the card list. And now card list will be completely scrollable. But now I can use scroll, this component, anywhere in my app. Anytime I need scrolling, I can just wrap it around. Can we do this? Let's give it a try. I'm going to import a component that we don't have yet. That's called scroll from a file that we'll create in just a second. Let's create a new file. We'll call it scroll.js. And here we'll, again, go through the motion of React from React. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And again, I want to change this to Babel. And we'll say const scroll equals, it's going to return, what should it return? Before we talk about that, just so we don't forget, we have to export default scroll. Now here's a problem. We want to return something, but it doesn't make sense, does it? If I go to app.js, scroll, it's not a self-closing component. It wraps components. So how can we tell scroll to, hey, just render whatever is inside of you? Up to this point, we've learned about props and we've learned about state. There's one other thing in React that I want to teach you, and that is children. And children is this. Scroll can use children as a way to render its children. What do I mean by that? Well, in here, every props object has children. So if I go props.children, well, let's see what happens. I save and go back. Everything's rendered. But if I remove this and I just do an H1, I just get this. You see, props.children is exactly that. If I console.log props, let's open up the console. I see that I get an object. And even though I didn't pass any props to scroll, automatically every single component in React has this property, children. And this children, it kind of looks confusing here, but has card list, type card list. So using this props.children, we can create components that wrap other components. Up to this point, we were only able to wrap these lowercase components, which are kind of like the HTML tags. But every time we had a custom component with capital letter that we built, well, we couldn't really wrap it. And now we can using this .children. But here's the cool part. Using props.children, well, I can create a scrollable component. Let me show you how. simply do div, close that div, and in here, again, curly brackets, props.children. And all we need now is to add styles to this div. I could create a scroll.css file and add a style so it's scrollable, but I want to show you another way, which is using style. Just like in HTML, using the style attribute, in JSX, I can add styles, but using double curly brackets. That is, this is a JavaScript expression, and within this, I'm returning an object. And this object can have CSS styles, such as a property overflow y, which is a CSS property. And this, we can say scroll, again, a CSS way to make the element scrollable. We'll say border is 1 pixel, solid, black. And then finally, we'll give it a height of 500 pixels. I'm going to make this smaller so you can see. I'm going to save. Compiling is fine. If I go back, it looks like we have a box here. Let's make it a little bit bigger just so you can see. I'm going to say 5 pixels, even though it's ugly. Oh, and I forgot a T in here. Height. All right, let's see. Look at that. We have a scrollable component. Let's make this a little bit bigger just so we can see it better. Look at that. If I make this smaller, I now have a scrollable component inside of this. Very cool. Now, this is a simple app. It allows you to search. It allows you to scroll. But it does show the power of React, doesn't it? We've created these simple functions, and the only thing that we tell it to do is, well, we tell it what state it has. The entire app is described through these two things, the robots and search field. And React takes care of the rest. As soon as search field or robots changes, React trickles down all this information as props to all these components and magically creates our view for us. That's why React is so powerful. It's a view layer. It takes care of manipulating the DOM, and all we tell it is, hey, what's the state? What are the functions that you want it to work with the state? And the rest, well, it optimizes to make sure that everything is super fast. And you can see how amazingly fast everything is here. It's a super snappy app, and these components are now reusable. I can bring search box now into another part of the website. I can add scrolling to another part of the website. This is what made React so powerful. And this is why so many websites are powered by React. Once you learn the syntax and you get used to everything, that's when React truly becomes powerful. And although we took a bit of time to create this app, once you get used to it, an app like this, you can create it in, well, less than an hour, probably 30 minutes. All right, I think we've done a great job here. Can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.